Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time might be in your neck of the woods. Today we're going to go over distributing and factoring. They're both really essential parts of the algebra set of skills. And we're going to start off with definitely the more basic set. This is not going to be factoring polynomials. We're going to be factoring out single items or possibly double items based on the greatest common factor. So, first definition to get is what is the distributive property? The distributive property is just basically says that a number outside of parentheses or brackets or a grouping symbol, whatever the grouping symbol might be, can be multiplied to all factors inside the parentheses. Doesn't have to be, but it could be. And you send all parts of that item, and we'll see how that works in the middle one here with the -2 outside. The way this works is that the number outside the parentheses, in this case the first one 4, gets sent in to all parts via multiplication. So that's 4 times 2x gives us 8x. 4 times -3, I think of that as a -3, not a -3. 4 times -3 is -12. I then check to see if there's any way I can combine those terms. I can't. One of them is an x, one of them is just a constant. Therefore, I gotta leave that the way it is. That's my answer. Next one would be I'm distributing the -2 into both parts. So -2 times y is -2y. -2 times +8 is -16. An alternative way to write that could be -2y. I keep that plus symbol. -2 times +8 is -16. There's nothing wrong with writing that, but the simpler form is the one above it. For your third one, you're sending the whole thing, 2x, into both parts. I don't know why. I always seem to not want to write sometimes. So I'm sending the 2x to both parts. What this means, on the side here, this is what's going on in my brain. I'm doing 2x times 3x. 2 times 3 is 6, and there are now 2 x's being multiplied by each other, so I just write that as x to the second power, or x squared. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. And then 2x times +5 is +10x. Since there's no x there, I wouldn't make an x squared. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Again, for all these, I check to see if I can combine any like terms. I can't, so therefore I move on. That's distribution in a nutshell. Now, factoring is they're just undoing distribution by removing that common factor from all terms. So these are the same answers you got on the last page, but just now going in reverse. It's just undoing distribution. Everything in math, if you can do it, you can undo it. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of square is square root. The opposite of distribution is factoring. So the hardest part of this is determining what is the biggest thing I can take out of both parts. The biggest thing I can take out of both 8 and 12 is 4. Now, if you're not good at GCF, go back and look at my other video on GCFs. It'll help. So I'm basically taking out a 4. I'm going to just divide all these by 4. So sorry about that. That's not a division symbol. Divide both of these by 4. So that's 8. I take that 4. I put it outside the parentheses. 8x divided by 4 is 2x. -12 divided by 4 is -3. I've now successfully factored a 4 out of both 8x and -12. I do the same thing for my next one. To identify what's the biggest number I can take out of both -2 and -16. Whenever I have a term, in this case, or an expression that starts with a negative, I'm going to want to try to take out the negative as well. It's going to make my life simpler going forward in math. So if I see a negative starting out, I'm going to be dividing this whole thing by a negative, and the biggest thing in there is going to be 2. I can divide both 2 and 16 by 2. Therefore, -2 comes out. -2 divided by -2 is 1. Y. -16 divided by -2 is +8. I can simplify that to read like this. And that's fine just the way it is. Okay? Now, last one. I got to figure out what is the biggest thing I can take out of both 6x squared and 10x. This includes both the coefficient, aka the number, and the variable. So I know I can divide this whole thing by the biggest number that goes into both 6 and 10 is going to be 2. And there's an x in both of them, so I can take out a single x. Not 2 x's, because there's not 2 x's in both. There's only 1 x in both of them. So I take out that 2x. I don't need that 1. It's kind of redundant. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I've lost one of these x's, so I have x now left over in there. Positive 10 divided by positive 2 is positive 5, and that x got removed, so I'm done there. Those are my 3 answers. They're the reverse of the first ones. 3 more examples that come up, like these types kind of come up a bunch. For this one, the biggest number that can come out is 8 out of 8 and 24. I'm going to divide them by 8. I'm not going to divide by a negative because the expression doesn't start with a negative. So I'll take that 8 out. 8 divided by 8 is 1. I kind of don't need to write that. I can just write the x. And then negative 24 divided by 8 is negative 3. Don't forget to bring that negative in. It's still negative 24 divided by positive 8. For your next one, you have to figure out what is the biggest thing that you can take out of all 3 terms. I was going to say 6 because 6 can go into both 6 and 12, but 6 can't go into 8. So I kind of got to drop my expectations a little bit. The biggest number that I can take out of all of these is going to be a 2. So I'll take that 2 out. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. That x is still there. I didn't take it out. Positive 12y divided by 2 is positive 6y. Negative 8 divided by positive 2 is negative 4. It's worth checking to see if I can factor again. I look at 3, 6, and 4. I can't take anything else out, so I'm done there. The last one, very complicated, or at least looks so. 10a squared plus 5ab plus 15b squared. I'm just going to drop this down a little bit farther down here so you don't get confused. Okay. Now the biggest coefficient I can take out of all of these is it's going to be a 5. 10, 5, and 15 can all be divided by 5. Then I check for variables. I say, okay, can I take out anything here? Well, I check here. There's a's and a's, but there's not an a over here. But and then b is only in these 2, so I really can't take anything out. All I can take out is the 5. Take out a 5. That's going to be 10a squared divided by 5 is going to be 2a squared. 5ab divided by 5 is going to be just ab. I've taken out the 5. 15b squared divided by 5 is going to be 3b squared. As much as I would love to take out an a and a b or both, I can't because it's not present in all of the items. Hope that helped. Thanks.